Wait, we're live.
Yeah, we're just.
I'm just getting this up. Hi, everyone. We're in the pre-show. Back to going live.
Podcast is powered by Control. Control is a meal replacement and functional foods business whose mission is to improve the lifestyles of gamers and content creators by making them healthier. Their meal replacement shakes and meal on the go bars are the best tasting products in their category while also giving you all the protein, vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients you need to keep you going. Check out drinkcontrol.com and try out the sample kits to see what all the hype is about.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 147 of the XboxEra podcast. I'm your host, Sik and Nick, and as per usual, I'm joined by special Nick.
What's going on?
Very muted. What's going on today, Nick? And I'm not sure why, but at least we've got a special guest here to G us up, and I've got it on my show notes here that you've asked me to specifically refer to him as the father of Xbox. Seamus Blackley's here. How you doing, Seamus?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very well. Are you a fan of that moniker, the father of Xbox?
It's a little weird, I have to tell you.
Okay,
we have to stop this now because it's crazy. We have to stop now. Nick, I hate to tell you this. I have been intentionally trying to make you uncomfortable for weeks. and these guys know about it, and it's been driving me crazy. And I'm really sorry, but fucking with you was so much fun. It was so much fun.
You have no idea the
right,
names you were being called, Seamus, before we went live.
Okay, so how was he reacting? Was he like, "Who the fuck is this?"
I've never seen him so mad, and I felt so bad.
Are you guys fucking for real right now?
I was talking to my wife last night. I was like, "Have I taken it too far?" And she didn't listen.
You took it way too far. You took it way too far.
It's fine. It's in good fun. Plus, he's Australian. He's a fucking criminal. He'll take it.
Honestly, I have never seen Nick like before you jumped in. And chat, let me catch you up. So Nick is normally the man that goes and chases for guests and annoys the hell out of them because he's quite good at being persistent and generally getting people to come on. Seamus bit.
And to be honest, he's very affable and charming. So my reaction to him must have been just totally. He's probably never had that before. It's so good. And the thing is, you didn't realize, Nick, you don't read fucking Twitter. On Twitter, I was literally tweeting like, "I'm winding up the host of a podcast I'm going to be on. I'm going to try to convince him I'm angry with him for no reason."
Twitter's algorithm is busted. I saw none of those tweets.
People were like, "Oh, that's sick." It was great.
Oh, it has been delightful. So, Nick, when I pinged Seamus, where was it? Last night, the other night? I was just like,
a couple of days ago, yeah.
"Hi, Seamus. I was
hoping
to catch up with you."
Me because Nick was like, "Fuck, you got to contact this guy because I don't know what's going on."
And this is the funny part.
Do you want me to be really frank right now? I was ready to make up an excuse to not do the show today.
I was trying to push it right to that limit. Right to that limit. And then today, whatever shit I sent you today, like I literally started laughing so hard, right? That like people thought something was wrong with me. And I was like, "This is so evil."
I said to my wife this morning, I'm like, "I don't want to do the show. I don't want to do the show today. I just want to stay in bed. I don't want to do the show."
Right.
Seamus and I have been in a DM for 4 years, and like he's been fine for years in this DM, and all of a sudden he's being a real prick, and I'm not sure why.
It was glorious. Thank you for that, Seamus. I really needed that.
It's a gift that keeps on giving. So Nick, man, I'm really sorry, but it had to be done. It just had to fucking be done.
Honestly, you should have seen him. I was sending you DMs like before we went live. I don't know if you've seen on Twitter. I was like, he is spitting feathers. Like he is, he's sweating. He's like getting hot flushes. He was very nervous about the whole thing.
I am very busy. At that time, I was like considering if I should brush my teeth or not. I'm busy and important.
Oh dear God. So, are you at the office today? Are you at home?
I'm sitting in our lab at our secret laboratory that I can't tell you anything about, but that's where I am. Yeah.
Nice, cool. So, look, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. We've obviously been wanting to get you on for ages, and you're a very busy guy, right? So we're quite lucky.
Yes.
Being important, according to me.
So the good news is this is a no holds barred podcast. You can swear. All right, you don't have to behave
still
yourself.
Recovering. This is great. I thought we might be able to hang on for longer. You lost it. Let's be honest. At the start,
I 100% lost my shit. I 110% lost it.
Oh, this is
absolutely
beautiful.
Lost it.
So I was talking with Nick before.
I'm never going to get invited.
I popped in earlier
ever again.
And
that's also
the first 10 minutes, Nick was just sitting there looking the angriest and most frustrated I've ever seen him, and I was. Yeah. It was a very hard thing to not just keep laughing.
It's really hard to be that kind of prick. I spent 10 years at this talent agency, and I saw all the bad behaviors of celebrities, and I was literally trying to remember what the fuck did she say that made me feel like shit? And I'm typing that thing. It feels so bad. I'm so sorry, but it was so fun. I gotta tell you, it was really fun.
Yeah, you took it well, Nick. You took it well. Congrats, you survived. Seamus still likes you and called you nice things. He didn't mean it. All right, deep breaths.
Well, although you also lost it, you hiding under your desk earlier.
I couldn't, man. I was
the whole thing. I thought he knew. Then I thought maybe he'll think that you're just hiding under your desk because it's so uncomfortable. So I went with that.
That was fair. It was very difficult to keep a straight face at the end there. I was just trying to get to that father of Xbox bit because
I would have actually told Nick probably before because I was so uncomfortable. But when you DM'd me, I was like, oh, thank God. I could at least tell him. And then I'm not absolutely a fucking heel.
Oh my God! So that message about the fathers of X, that was all part of it.
That was entirely made up just to piss you off. I could give a fuck about that.
And I had to, and like playing along with it, I feel bad because I was just doing everything I could to make Nick go like, "Wow, what is wrong with this guy? What a mean person."
I could give a fuck about any of that.
Oh, right.
All right.
I'm gonna harass
Thanks for making the time for us, Seamus.
Oh yeah,
we appreciate it.
A lot of time. You've spent a lot of time in my mind recently.
Tortured mind. So normally at the start of the show, Seamus, we normally talk about what we've been playing, and I guess this is a pertinent question to ask. Do you still get a chance to chill out and play games?
Yeah, I do. Not as much as I would like, and I have 3 sons, and so there's a lot of competition for which machine is going to be free and who uses what, right? And so I end up usually relegated to like DS, like whatever's released on DS.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
go in the corner, Dad.
Yeah, so that's where the fuck I am. And like, what am I going to say? Am I going to say no, son? You can't play Xbox? No, yeah. I'm like uniquely. On Earth, I am the person least able to say that.
Yeah,
that's a disadvantage. Yeah,
there's no Switch to jump on.
There's a Switch. I use the Switch.
Oh, okay.
I play a lot of Skyrim on the Switch.
Okay,
nice. Yeah, it's a game that keeps on giving. Skyrim.
Well, Skyrim, it's like a place you go for a vacation.
Yeah.
And if you're like level 120 and you like walk into a room and everything just dies automatically, it's pretty amusing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Are you looking forward to Starfield in that case? Then
I am. So this is all. There's a long story about all this shit because
we like long stories.
So I was looking forward to No Man's Sky because I was hoping it would be what I hope Starfield is going to be or is. And then it went through all the struggles. And the really instructive thing about No Man's Sky was how Yoshida-san and the Sony people kept supporting them.
Yeah.
Because they believed in the team and the vision. They didn't just like, fuck you, you're cut, you're all out of a job, which is what most publishers would do, right? No, they didn't. It's cool. They kept working on it, and now it's special. And you know what? That team is going to grow into a super team for Sony. It already is.
Oh, God, yeah. It's Hello Games, isn't it?
Yeah. And so that's a beautiful story, but still, it never really... There was something a little bit like cartoony about it to me, and I really wanted Skyrim in space, but bigger even, right? Because I played Elite, and Elite Dangerous was a little bit too like esports for me, and so I think but it's fine. Like, look, esports is great, but not when I'm in the mood to like explore the galaxy on my own. I feel like
Elite is. I played a lot of Elite, so Elite was like the first game my dad let me play on the BBC Micro back in the day, right? And Have you met Dave and those guys? Have you told them? I haven't. No, I haven't met David Braben.
Dave Braben's a really nice guy, and it'll mean something to him. So make sure when you meet him.
I'll try and I'd love to get him on one day. But when they announced Elite Dangerous and they did the Kickstarter back in 2015, I was like, Dad, Elite's back, right? And he saw it, and he'd not touched games for like years, right? And then suddenly he bought a brand new rig. He tried my Oculus Rift. I think they had the CV1 at the time.
Yeah.
He went and bought all of the gear, and like he still plays it today. He's got something like 59 billion credits. He just grinds and grinds. He's got the full hot ass setup. I'm just like, it's kind of cool. Like, he played with me and my friends when we were still playing it. I don't play it so much now, but yeah, I'm hoping Skyrim's going to be that game for me. But Nick, you been playing anything this week? Have you been playing any video games?
Well, Nintendo Shadow dropped Metroid Prime Remastered, so I've been absolutely smashing that to death. That game is amazing.
You sound like you're on fucking payroll, dude.
He is the Nintendo fanboy of this podcast.
Well, yeah, no, it's well, yeah. I mean, the game had been long rumored, but no one knew officially whether it was dropping or not, and they did, and I bought it straight away, and that's pretty much all I've been playing since it came out on Thursday here. So I haven't played the game for like 20 years.
So 5 out of 5 would recommend?
Yeah, very much so.
I've never played it.
Oh, my God. You have to.
I was not a Nintendo kid.
Even the original holds up today.
Yes.
I swear to God, it holds up today.
I might steal my son's Switch then. But I just resent paying, what is it, 50, 60 quid for the remaster? Or is it 40?
Well,
is it
60 Australian. 60 Australian.
So you pay 50 Australian, which is I think like $6.50.
Okay, that's fair. If it's 50 Australian, that's a little bit more reasonable.
Australian, yeah, sure, right.
It's just Nintendo games. They always stay at the highest price humanly possible. It just bugs me.
You're complaining, and then you spend 130 hours in the thing, right?
Yeah, I know.
No, and so you're paying like a billionth of a penny per minute of playtime. Like, what else? Nothing costs that little. Like, the depreciation of the chair you're sitting in is less than that shit.
That's true. It's funny. I saw someone tweet earlier this week about a new pay model where instead of all games are free, but you pay $2 an hour for however many hours you spend in whatever game is out.
Yeah, people
would you do it?
That because then like suddenly $50 would 50 quid even would seem like a huge deal.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I'm still fascinated to know how uncomfortable I made Nick. I'm really like, I know you guys
extremely
want to talk about, really
extremely.
Well, first, I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
I don't want it to scar you. I want it to.
You know what?
I feel like we should do some therapy now, or we should.
If we didn't have a 4 or 5 year DM history, I don't think it would have had the same impact. But because I saw
my moments and I went in, yeah.
Because of that history of our DM, where we were great, and you discovered I was Greek, and you were like, bloody Greeks, and blah blah blah. So we always had that rapport, and then when I saw this start, I'm like,
one of my best friends, my closest friends, is a Greek physicist here at Caltech. Yep. And I asked him, and he said, "Oh yeah, Greeks can take a good joke." I'm like, "Okay." Okay.
Normally I can very much, but this was next level.
All right, we can get back on topic again. Periodically, I want to check in with Nick. I want to make sure that everyone knows to keep an eye on him. Yeah, maybe we want to put like the kitchen knives away for a couple of weeks.
He'll be okay. I mean, we've had plenty of guests in the time we've been doing the podcast, and we've had some that you have to really
actual prick. Like,
sorry,
not for this show, but on one of the other ones we did, yes. But on this show, no.
A game industry figure,
a YouTuber.
Oh,
YouTuber, yeah. Because the thing about making games and technology and stuff like consoles is that it's so fucking hard that it will beat the ego straight out of you. If you think you're a smart person, you're not going to think you're smart after you ship a game. Full stop. There's no fucking way you can. And so the only people who tend to be really egotistical are like pure game designers who never get their ass kicked by code and who happen to have lucked out and never get their ass kicked by the fans.
Yeah.
Or sort of like dialogue writers or people where like you can come in and then leave. And if the game was a big hit, you feel like you're a genius, right? But if you actually make a game, no matter how successful it is, I promise you, you do not feel like a genius. You feel like the luckiest motherfucker who ever lived that it happened to work. And oh my God, we're never going to be able to do that again. And that's literally how it feels. And so you don't tend to get a lot of people who do games or hardcore engineering of any kind who are super egotistical because it just gets kicked out of you by nature.
Yeah,
you're an idiot.
We've had some real characters, but I can't recall a single guest who have been like, we've had characters where it might have been a bit difficult to get them going conversation wise, and it might be because of their personality, they might be introverted or whatever the case may be. And it's like, so it's a bit more like poking to get answers, and then it's very short answers, and you're like, come on, work with me here, buddy. And eventually it takes like a little while to build rapport, but I don't think we've ever had an out and out dickhead on the show yet.
Until me to Nick.
I absolutely love like Nick's ego is the size of a small island. So just seeing him being like, it was I loved it. I was having so much fun. I pinged Jesse and I was like, do you want to know a secret? I feel like I need to let you in on this so that we can just like keep Nick calm together. And he was like, he's been DMing me like worried and stressed. Oh, that's great.
I'm glad. See, Nick, you have a support and you have a nest of support around you.
God.
Yeah. I was incensed
they'll let you suffer, but they won't actually allow any harm to come to you.
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
That's how you know that they're the best mates. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's how good friendship is.
I thought we were mates. That's why it had such an effect. I thought we were mates.
Now you've discovered that like we are the best mates because I'm willing to put you through the pain, but make sure you're okay. That's how it's measured, man.
Oh man,
that's it. We're bonded.
I feel like Nick's going to take a little while to kind of recover himself. I feel like he's a bit shaken by the whole affair.
He might have to go on a sabbatical, a brief,
but
you might have to walk in the desert.
That should show what Seamus meant to me. That I was so incensed.
The guilt angle isn't going to work on me. Sorry. No.
He mentioned he's got 3 sons. He's a practiced hand.
That's absolutely proof to any bullshit you're thinking of pulling. There's nothing.
All right, well, Nick, you can go the what was your childhood gaming like question here on the sheet if you want to try and wheedle in that way, make him get all nostalgic of the past and stuff.
Well, yeah, I will admit. So when I had to pivot, like I was trying to come up with questions, obviously during the week to ask you, and
but you were being emotionally blackmailed, so it was impossible to be creative.
I had to pivot a little bit from what I was gonna ask, because I was gonna ask.
How do you feel about being the father of Xbox?
I was like, I better avoid asking OG Xbox questions because I don't know if I want to delve into that topic anymore. So I thought I'd like to try.
I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't care. It was so worth it.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm like, I need to think of questions others haven't asked him before somehow. That's like just gets away from the OG Xbox and anything that happened at Microsoft.
When you were growing up, did you find yourself emotionally blackmailing other friends?
Yeah, how did you get into this?
Historical to you. How many times have your friends beaten the shit out of you, Seamus? Does that happen often?
Yeah. Well, one question I'll ask, and I legitimately don't know the answer. I do want to know where your gaming childhood started. Like where did you start in gaming? Like everyone has a story of their first console or the first time they played a video game or whatever it is. I actually don't know yours.
Mm.
You missed an opportunity, Nick. You could have been like, yeah, Seamus, you're great. You're getting on a bit. Pong, was it? You could dig in here and fight back.
I played Pong as well.
Oh, well, you are older than me. That's true.
Again,
I'm old.
I've got 3 sons. They've called me old in every possible way. When you have children, you get called old in really subtle ways.
I'll keep an eye out for that one.
Really, you can look forward to that one. Like me and my wife are walking up a hill. We went to the mountains. We're walking up a hill, and our youngest son comes up behind us and says, "I'm so proud of you for making it up that hill."
Brutal. Did you push him back down?
Yeah, no, we're gonna. My wife, again, she's English, so she has the sense of humor. She goes, "Let's kill him in his sleep."
Glorious.
You can do that.
It
could look like an accident. Yeah. No, so no. Being from from the era that I'm from, my first game experience was a real shock because people at that time in the 1970s were unaware that a television could become interactive.
Mm.
All right, and it's hard for you guys to imagine potentially, but imagine a world of tube televisions, half of which were probably black and white still. And television is not interactive. It shows you something at a given time. And if you make it, you get to see the show. If your little brother's making noise, you don't hear the dialogue. You aren't rewinding that shit, right? You just lost it. And that's when you beat the fuck out of your little brother. There was a really positive aspect as well, which is that everyone had seen the same shows because there were only, there was only so many places to watch.
Yeah.
I assume in Australia it was similar to in the UK and the US, and there was like a couple of big broadcasters. That was it. And so you had a shared culture that was much more powerful than today. In fact, I saw my wife forwarded me a Saturday Night Live skit from this weekend, I think, maybe from last weekend. And basically, it was like a game show, and the questions were all around what was the biggest hit TV show. And all the contestants could name them in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. Nobody had any fucking clue what was popular now because there are 100 million shows on 100 million different networks. And so nobody has any shared context. Everybody has a different fucking thing to talk about. And that's just the world we live in. Anyway, so then there was TV and it came on and there was like, shows on TV. And so I was in San Francisco with my parents. My father had a business trip and I came along with him. And the game that was made by the Atari engineers and Nolan Bushnell before they founded Atari was there as a coin-op machine in the lobby of that hotel, which was called the Clift in San Francisco, famous hotel. And it was called Computer Space. And it was a little bit like Asteroids. You can look it up. And I saw it, and the idea that the television could be interactive and that there was a world inside a computer that I could go into and fly around all hit me at the same time. And it was so profound. And when I think of you guys and younger people, I actually feel bad for you. And the reason, and I mean that with all my heart, honestly, is that you probably have never had an experience where you've seen the world change like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm older than you think. I'm a lot older than you think.
So what was your experience of the world changing?
In a similar vein to yours, when I went to my great uncle's place.
Do you color your hair?
No,
I don't.
No, I shave almost to the skin to get rid of the grey.
I don't really want to know where you shave. That's okay.
Well,
we'll get into that a little
when
later.
I said we were like this, there are limits. Information I need to know.
But I remember going to my great uncle's house, and he had one of those old school TVs with the Pong paddles built into it that you just pull out and start turn the dial channel thing and switch over to where Pong was on and start playing Pong on his TV. And I was like, what the hell? This is just next level.
So, same thing. And interestingly, Pong was the game that Al Alcorn and Nolan came up with because Computer Space failed. It was too complicated. It was too much. Because it was like, not only is a television interactive, but it was in this funky, weird fiberglass cabinet. And it was like Asteroids. You could rotate your ship left and right and thrust, and you could shoot. And when you turned your ship, your shot would actually steer too. And you were fighting UFOs, and it kept score, and there were stars in the background. When you look at it today, you're going to get it right away and think this is amazing. But if you look at it in 1974, you're not going to know what the fuck is going on. You're going to think, where's the TV show? And so it's too much. Yeah. And so they pulled back to Pong, and everybody could understand what was going on. Plus, it was competitive. Part of what confused people was that you were playing against the computer.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, who am I playing against?
Wait, which one am I? And which one am I was a question that was asked in video games for like 30 years. And it's finally stopped, happening because the culture has changed. But which one am I was a big deal. And in Pong, there's no which one am I. The knobs are on the side that you're on, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But those circuits that drew those games were incredible. There was no CPU. So Pong has no CPU. I don't know if you know this or not. Had no CPU. There were no CPUs in games for years and years. That is a state machine built out of just transistors. It's 7 forward logic chips, so a bunch of transistors on chips. And it draws a video signal using timers and interfering timers against one another with logic gates.
Wow.
It draws it. It doesn't know where the ball is. It doesn't know where the paddles are. All this, there's no program running. There's no coordinates for anything. And that Pong circuit is one of the cleverest things ever designed. And the engineer who did it, Al Alcorn, is revered.
Wow. I had no idea that it was
how Pong works, trying to figure it out. The number of people who can fix a Pong board is very low, like 50 people, because it's not at all obvious how it works. And Computer Space, even worse. Like
Are
Pong,
you one of those people?
Yeah, I am. And so Pong keeps score, as does Computer Space. It has, and you've seen the score on Pong, right? It's like blocky, like square numbers. Yeah. Right? That is the driver chip for one of those old 7-segment LED displays from the old calculators. Okay. The chip that would light up those things, that's in Pong. And it is interfered through AND gates with this timer marching across pixels. And when it's on, the pixel turns white. And when it's off, it's not. And so you have effectively a 7-segment display rendered as a video signal.
That's nuts.
The cleverness of that circuit is awesome. There's a guy in Taiwan, I think, or possibly New Zealand. I can't remember which. Got a PhD. And his thesis was describing the Pong circuit.
That's awesome.
But then that's blowing
You've
my
blown
mind
Nick's
even
mind.
more. Because how do the physics of the ball work then?
It is unbelievably clever. So if you have two, think of two guitar strings, and when they're not in tune, you hear both of the notes of the guitar strings, plus you hear a beat note in between them. Boop, 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 right?
Yeah. I know what you mean. I play
the
guitar.
motion of the ball in Pong is a beat note between two clocks. And then when that beat note is greater than one of the clocks, it goes right, and when it's lesser than one of the clocks, it goes left. And the same thing is true for up and down. Yeah.
Have you seen? And I'll have to see the video.
And by the way, the thing that flips which clock goes into which input is a trigger based on the ball hitting one of the paddles, and it can tell if the ball hits the paddle because it compares the position of the potentiometer that you're turning, right?
Yeah.
With a fixed resistance value, and if the ball is at a point down the screen where when you turn the paddle in Pong, you're controlling the frequency of a timer. And so you turn it up, it goes, right?
Okay.
It's interfering that signal. It's digital, but it's a clock, like right, clock rate with where the ball is. And if the ball is at a lower clock rate or a higher clock rate, it didn't hit. If it's at the same clock rate, it hit the paddle in reverse directions.
Mental.
And if it's
That's
a miss,
unbelievable.
And if it's a miss, then a signal goes to that LCD counter that then talks to the 7-segment LED display thing and increments it and changes the pattern that it shows. And then as the raster goes across, you get a different score displayed.
That's bonkers.
That's
Have you seen
unbelievable.
the magnetic physical Pong table?
I've seen all that stuff. But I'll tell you something. The magnetic physical Pong table, and I've seen people freak out about all sorts of different versions of Pong, right?
Yeah.
Sick joke that you now know is that Pong itself is radically more clever than any of those things.
Yeah, that sounds like I always would assume it was just a simple CPU working things out, and it's nothing to do with that at all.
Like, okay, so we're going to start out with a simple game first, and the first thing you're going to write is Pong, which anyone can write, and it's so sick because no one could figure out how the fuck to do that. And the thing about Pong is that it's so ubiquitous because it changed the world. It absolutely changed the world. So Al Alcorn is the name of the engineer, and I actually have a Pong board that has his signature on it because he signed off on control. And not because he signed it for a fan. He signed it in 1974 or something on quality control because they were all working to try to ship these things out, right? And it's an incredible work of genius, and it's one of those things.
It is,
like Beatles music, or like I don't know, name something else, like Andy Warhol, that's so ubiquitous that you look at it and you don't understand why it's important. You're like, oh, that's boring. It's like, well, it's boring because it's in everything. There's an NPR. In the U.S. there's this thing called National Public Radio, which is kind of like BBC. They'll make shows that aren't going to make any money that are just informative, right? So they did a segment where they sent a reporter to Beijing, and she was talking to these kids in Beijing who dressed like the Beatles. That was their subculture. And just like John Lennon, I just like Yoko Ono, all this kind of stuff, right? And so then she asked them, well, what's your favorite Beatles song? Which is a natural thing to ask people who dress up like the fucking Beatles, right? And they're like, we don't really listen to the Beatles. We don't really understand why they're so popular. And this woman drove her crazy. She was like, wow. And she's flying back. And on the flight, this is what she said in her story. She said she realized what it was, which is that these are young people. And so they can't see as clearly that the reason the Beatles are boring is because every song sounds like the Beatles because the Beatles invented it all. And so they're so important that they seem boring. And the same thing is true for Pong. Pong was so brilliant that it seemed boring.
Yeah, it's just tennis.
I have a brand new. I mean, Pong already blew my mind back then as a small child. You know, pulling these paddles and whatever. But now hearing this, like the physics on Pong, even though technically there's no physics, like it's unbelievable. Like I remember you can slice that ball like in tennis, like a backhand slice if you know what you're doing.
So yeah, and those are things that Al Alcorn noticed that he could put in once he got it working. And this is the genius of game design. The genius of game design, and the reason that he's just an intimidating, fucked up genius, is that not only did he get cheap, affordable circuits to make an interactive video signal in the early 1970s, which in and of itself is a Nobel fucking Prize in my view.
Yeah.
He then made it clean, sharp, and fun.
Which is genius game design.
That's right. It seems natural.
Unbelievable.
It seems easy. It doesn't seem like a big deal. And like all great technology, it just seems easy. It looks totally like
magic.
Like, why didn't we do this before?
Yeah.
Why? Everything should be like this.
On the subject of genius game design, then, and you're not allowed to say Pong now because I think we get it, right? But if you look across, I mean, and games have changed a lot since Pong, right? Now we do have CPUs and RAM and beautiful graphics and fidelity and all of that jazz. But if you had to pick one singular game, just one, you're on a desert island and you can only play one thing again, what would it be? What's the game that you were like, okay, this is doing something new, something special, something incredible that you played in the last?
Questions. Like there's the game that's most innovative. That may not be the one that I want to
Fair.
Yes.
We'll allow room for both answers.
This is a shit question. You should let Nick.
Tough.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, good stuff. I had to get that out.
All right. So Desert Island game, if you only have one game to play, it should be something with like really good replay value, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Loads and loads of hours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're on a desert island, you have more than loads of hours. You've got like the rest of your short life.
Before you die of exposure.
Infinite time. So what do you want to die? So it's pretty grim. It's like, what game do you want to play while you die?
Rocket League.
Framing of the question, but yeah.
Well, the thing about Rocket League is you have internet on the island? Is that
that's the assumption?
You have multiplayer. Go on.
Oh, you have multiplayer. Oh.
Having said that, though, Rocket League allows for playing against AI.
Yeah, but have you seen the Rocket League AI?
I have.
The Stable Diffusion AI that could dribble.
Yes.
That freaked me out. All right. So just the game that will like slip me softly out of consciousness and into the beyond. But definitely, I would want Skyrim. I want to exit this world. Okay.
Unless Starfield betters it, of course.
Well, the thing is that even if it does, I feel a sort of a kinship with Skyrim. Like like there's just something like the music. I don't know. Okay.
It's a game. Everyone has one.
Then innovative game, that's very different. Innovative game.
It's a tricky one, right? Because I think there are loads of games that have done some really cool shit, but you could pick one element. It doesn't have to be like the best-selling game.
Being like an old guy, I have this viewpoint on this, which is like what's more valuable to me are the people who, for the first time, made something work, than it is. Recently, it's like, oh well, these guys have done this best, but we all know about this, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, there are notable things, right? There's yeah, there were two or three. Well, I mean, look, I think probably the one that you guys are going to agree with most in terms of like a big moment in history is John Carmack and Mike A. Rush
Yeah.
Basically bringing multiplayer off the floor in Quake, like figuring all of that shit out, because it was seen as impossible before that.
Yeah,
full stop. And you guys think, oh, nobody'd ever think online gameplay is impossible. Yeah, everyone fucking thought it was impossible. I assure you. Okay.
Wait, Quake or Doom?
Doom.
Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Doom.
Oh, okay.
I get confused because I was around for all that shit, and so
Same here.
It's fair.
And when we were writing System Shock, we were writing texture mappers and sorters and clippers and stuff that you guys all know now. Nobody had ever fucking done that, so we were making it up from nothing, from whiteboard, no book to look it up, nothing.
Yeah.
And there's this other guy, John, who we had an ARPANET in Texas. And we get on the ARPANET and talk to John and show him, and he'd be like, "Oh, I don't think your texture. I think just looking up and down is enough. You guys don't need to tilt the head or anything." And he was right. Our game was really complicated and didn't sell nearly as well as his.
Yeah.
But all those engine stuff and figuring that out and figuring out online, and we were all thinking the same stuff. We were a little bit more about emergent gameplay than them, but I think John and Mike doing that was really important. And Mike A. Rush, people say a lot of things about Mike and all the amazing shit that he's done, but I would say that's the most amazing thing that he's done was doing that. And part of the reason he was able to do it is because he didn't care. He wasn't into it. He wasn't into playing online. So he had a dispassionate view that caused him to make it.
That's interesting.
To be able to hit engineering excellence on it. And look, Mike worked for me on Xbox. Mike's a superb guy, and now he's running all the the shit for Meta.
Yeah.
The Metaverse Meta mess.
It does feel like a bit of a mess. Maybe he's not enjoying his time. Who knows?
Well, I think he's enjoying the engineering challenges. Just from a business standpoint, I find it a little bit insulting. I mean, look, as gamers, they're like, oh, we're gonna bring the Metaverse, and it's gonna be you're gonna be in 3D, and we're like, fuck you. We've already done all this. We've invented this. How disrespectful of you. Fuck you. Go just look at anything we've done, and please stop doing these dumb, really, really unbelievably, but no, just naive, just insultingly naive. Really, you're gonna badly reinvent something that has been finely honed and already made billions and billions of dollars under your nose, but you're too proud, you're too cool to look at that. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It really is angering. And I don't know if other people are willing to say it as
eloquently,
but nobody who's done anything in games, engine programmers, nobody has a different viewpoint from that. Wow, fuck you. Really? You're reinventing it all. You're claiming credit for having an avatar in a 3D world. Fuck off.
No one's ever done it before until now.
Oh my god, and we can't have legs. That's too complicated. Oh, fuck off. Oh my god. And it's for me, being the trespasser guy. Do I have legs on the girl or not? And do I, how do we show health? And I don't have a HUD. Think about all this stuff in the early 90s, you fucking assholes. Come on.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, and if it's any consolation, I swear I read that it lost something like $13.8 billion of Facebook revenue trying to get that off the ground. So
you can imagine a cartoon of a man flushing himself down his own toilet. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't understand I don't understand who it's for. Businesses wouldn't want to use it. I don't think. I don't want to use it. I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's the same. It's probably aimed at the same mainstream that's buying NFTs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like people who it's I don't want to insult people, but when I went to go work on finance in games, I got hired by this, by the Microsoft of the Google of talent called CAA.
Yeah.
And I spent 10 years doing financing, which was great because I learned all that bunch of shit talking to lawyers. And that's important to know how to do. And I didn't know how to do it, and I thought I did, and I was an idiot. But there's this great effect that I noticed, which is that people who had been absolutely rejected by the games industry, couldn't get a job anywhere, would come to Hollywood and say, I'm from the games industry, and I know how to do these game things. And the Hollywood people would be like, oh, excellent. You should be in charge of our whole games division. Happened again and again and again. Disaster. Because the Hollywood people, who were very successful, smart people, believe them, because how are they going to know? And would empower them. And then these idiots would say, okay, we're going to have this and this and this, and these are all terrible, stale ideas. But the Hollywood guys had never heard these ideas, and they thought, wow, that's brilliant. And of course they are brilliant, because they were brilliant in the late 80s when people in the game industry came up with them. And I feel like this same thing is happening now, which is that the people who invest in Meta and the wider audience of people who use Facebook may not be aware of the hyper-realistic, completely real-time, 60 frame per second interactive online worlds we routinely hang out in every single day and have tournaments in and are told stories in and all these things. And so they think that Mark Zuckerberg is a great genius and he will come down from the mountain with like these amazing online experiences that we've all wanted, despite the fact that we already have them.
Yeah. I sense we've struck a nerve, but you're not wrong.
It makes you feel crazy as a businessman. You're like, you know, what is there a gas leak in here? Like, why is no one just saying this? Like, and there are all these interviews with these guys where they say, well, what is the metaverse going to be? And they never have an answer.
Yeah.
And it's like, how is this continuing to go on? And so when you see, you know, Facebook lose all that value, I don't want those guys to lose their houses. I don't want people to lose their jobs. I don't want people to lose money on the stocks. But at the same time, it does make me feel like I'm not fucking insane. Like, okay, well, that makes sense because there's no product there.
Yeah, like there's nothing to sell. There's nothing for anyone.
And by the way, what are you doing when you have this fabulously profitable advertising business and you just decide to pivot into this place you know nothing about and do so badly in, and now you're doubling down? Like, okay, cool.
Someone just want to admit they're wrong, perhaps. I mean, but you know, speaking of the advertising business,
it's very different though than like Google taking a bet on Stadia and hiring like Phil Harrison, who knows what he's doing, and trying to figure out how to do this game subscription model on servers, right? It failed, but it failed because they didn't execute right and they tried hard, and it wasn't a totally stupid plan, and those guys actually knew what they were doing. And so that's sane. That's like, okay, well, you swung at it, and it sucks that it didn't work because the good stuff about it would have been cool. But, you know, also a lot of the challenges, you know, held you down. That's one thing. Like this total crazy, naive, like, I mean, frankly, they must have to consciously ignore history and tons of information. And like, I have no sympathy for that. Like, if you're ignoring all this stuff that we've done in games, go to hell. What else am I going to say to you?
Did you see the Stadia launch event? Where they had all the consoles and of the past in glass. Weirdly, all of the things that failed consoles. Like they had the ET Atari cartridge. They had
a Dreamcast. They had like it. I said it back then. I'm like, I don't think Google understands. Like they're trying to be hip and trendy by showing this niche stuff, not realizing that what they're teasing the future of gaming with is failed stuff.
From personal experience, quite honestly, that, you know, and this is like Phil. So I mentioned Phil Harrison. Like, I love Phil Harrison, and he was my enemy on Xbox. He was like,
he ran the PS2
exactly, man. Yeah, he was. But I adore that guy. Super smart guy. The way that makes sense, given how Stadia performed, is that it is unbelievably fucking difficult to get a giant stupid company to do anything good. And you know, and the bigger they get, the harder it is to get through anything. And that's why these big companies, when they have success in things, it's always something they bought. So like all this stuff Google's been successful with recently has been companies they bought. Same thing with Microsoft, same thing with Apple, more or less. Like, and it's because this giant corporate structure is the opposite of anything intelligent with respect to implementing a plan or being light on your feet or getting popular.
And creativity.
Yeah, because it's like living on another planet. Like, the whole reason that you get up in the morning and do stuff during your day is to get a better review so you can get better money inside the company. And if doing the right thing for a product causes people around you to be uncomfortable because you might have too high a profile, or if it doesn't go along with like what the upper management has said is the mission of the company or something, then you have all sorts of static trying to get something to work, even if it's a really good idea. And then you'll end up getting a bad review, maybe getting fired, not making as much money because you're trying to do the right thing. And who the fuck wants to do that? I mean, fortunately, some insane idiots want to do that. But you're fighting that kind of problem. And worse, the more successful a company is, the more like middle managers there are who are really wealthy, basically just for not getting fired. right? You have
I know
thousands of
plenty of them
engineers at these big companies, and I'm not saying they're bad people or they're bad engineers, but they've all made way more money than people who have like actually invented something and like put tons of work into it, and it warps reality. It really warps reality because you start to get the idea that you are super brilliant because you have a couple $1 million, especially in U.S. culture, and you unintentionally, I think, become a wall to innovation. And then you have hundreds or thousands of these guys who are all a wall to innovation because of the success of the company that they're at. And so you rarely see shit happen.
So on that note then, and I guess this is an interesting segue considering all of the news that's been floating around this week, and I have no idea how much you would keep up on really that interests you, but we recently saw here in the UK, Microsoft were obviously vying to buy Activision Blizzard King. The UK came back with.
I thought that was a very strange ruling that they had.
It is a bit peculiar. Yeah. I mean, do you think, like, you talk about Microsoft making, or any companies making acquisitions, but let's put our Microsoft hat on, I guess.
Microsoft. Let me just point out before we begin that holding up this particular Tory government's opinion about.
Don't get me started, man.
This kind of metric is fucked, man. So just. Okay, so let's but okay. That said,
I agree with you. Like Microsoft, they took a bet on Xbox, right? You were there, you brought it to life to a degree, right? You were the man that taped this thing together in the office and had the boot. If I understood the stories, one of the fathers.
I can go straight back, Nick. I can go straight back to it.
No.
So listen, I'll tell you the truth of it is that there were a lot of times when I was the only guy, and people who had careers there would split off when it looked like the project was in danger or it was going to hurt your career. And it always you have to have one idiot who's just, okay, fine, I'm going to keep going at it. And the reason people say that I'm the father of Xbox is because on those days, the really bad days, I was the guy who stuck with it several times over. And then at the end, everybody wants credit for success as many fathers. Boy, I'll tell you what, like there was one father a bunch of times, and like there were plenty of times of like driving home in tears with me, like, what am I doing? Make I just drive into the tree. Well, I'll just drive to the fucking tree. That would be the same. That's how I felt. And that's what it's like to go up against these a corporation that way, even when you're doing something that's obviously in their best interest.
Yeah. But, you got it through. It still exists today. It had a bit of a fumble in 2013, but I think it's in a really good spot now. It's part of the reason we exist is we enjoy the platform.
It's so funny that Don Matrick delivered that fumble that erased the previous huge fumble of the Red Ring of Death, which was seen as the worst thing in video games. He outdid that, took the heat, and then vanished.
Just boom, gone.
And now Phil's there. Things are okay.
He's still at Zynga, isn't he?
I have no idea.
I can't remember. Is he left? Oh, okay.
I have no idea. I have a whole history on that.
Wow.
I'll not get into now.
Okay. Off air. But Microsoft, they made a ton of acquisitions.
I occasionally do send emails like the ones I was teasing this guy with that I'm serious about, and there may have been some of those.
You've ruined everything.
Yeah.
If you want to know John, he is the CEO of Prometheus Ventures Incorporated for the past 8 years.
Fascinating.
8 years.
8 years is a long time in video game land. But
Microsoft. So one interesting thing I'll tell you. So not just with Xbox, but anything. If you look at these teams of people and you're interviewing guys who've done stuff back in the day, marketing people, like when I left Microsoft PR scrambled to figure out how it wasn't Seamus because he's leaving. It was a group of people who made Xbox successful because that was really important for a corporate message so that Xbox isn't going to fail now this dude's leaving, who was like the guy on stage with Bill and like made the prototypes and all that shit that they hyped. Then when I leave, they have to figure out some of this. And that was very painful for me to watch, sort of my legacy get drained off, but understandable. But the way you can tell, and unless Xbox was made by a lot of people who really worked really hard on it, and in a lot of ways, I get way too much credit because there are a ton of people who worked their asses off to make that go that it would not have worked without. Yeah. Full stop. The way to tell the people who contributed to a project versus not is to look what they did after the project. Okay, if you have a guy who says, "Oh, I was the main guy who made game X," and like, "Fuck, I'm the guy," and that's all he's ever done. And there are two other guys who are, people think are widely credited. And those guys have both gone on to found a studio, and the other guy started a hardware company and did really well. Those are probably the guys who did the work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you gotta look at like
Very
people
true.
who park somewhere, versus people who go on and try to do stuff. Because I think if you're compelled to create stuff, you can't be stopped.
Keep
So
going.
all these guys, Al Alcorn, Nolan Bushnell, whether or not it's successful, people keep on swinging at it as hard as they can.
Yeah. I think that's important. I can't imagine not putting my all into everything and then just walking away from it. It's not in me to do it. But Microsoft have made a bunch of acquisitions. They did a bunch in 2018, really trying to recover from the oh shit, we've only got 4 studios and we're literally not releasing any games kind of world. Now they're on the table. They're trying to buy Activision Blizzard King. Do you think A, it's a good thing, and B, do you see it going through?
Wow. So, I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I've gone into legal action against Activision 3 or 4 times.
I did not know that.
Didn't know that.
Feel free to fill me in.
Are you sure you're supposed to be saying this?
Yeah,
I know. It's fine. You can look I'm in the lawsuit. So,
Okay.
with Guitar Hero and Rock Band, when I was at TA, those were games that I funded and represented Harmonix. And so the reason that there is a Rock Band is because of Bobby Kotick at Activision behaving badly, and then freaking out and calling me a bastard. Bobby Kotick called me a faggot on a phone call with like 2 of the most powerful gay men in Hollywood on the line. Yeah, it was awesome.
I'm so surprised because Bobby.
Yeah, no, because otherwise he's so reasonable all the rest of the time. And ultimately, he is the reason why Respawn exists and the Infinity Ward team left to go to PA and make those games, which was a great thing. But the reason for that was that he was refusing to pay them their royalties. And so they called in tears one day and said, "Oh my God, Seamus, help!" And so we helped, and then now there's Respawn.
Wow. So we owe you Titanfall.
So you don't know you owe the Respawn guys Titanfall, and their bravery going through that experience was incredible. I mean the bad shit that went down in that story is incredible.
Wow.
Similar to the bad shit that went down with like Double Fine. They tried to cancel Brutal Legend. They tried to shut down Double Fine and Tim Schafer. That would have been a fucking tragedy. And with Guitar Hero, they tried to destroy music game franchises, and they largely did. I think they released like 30 SKUs in 1 year based on Guitar Hero. They buried it. They strip mined it to death. And a lot of it was just pure spite because of Rock Band, because the way that I had written the contract for Harmonix with Activision was that Harmonix owned the IP. And Activision wanted that game, so they bought the publisher, which was called Red Octane at the time.
Yeah,
2 Stanford brothers.
I remember.
And then discovered too late that Red Octane didn't actually own the game. Go figure.
Wow.
Jesus.
So it was actually kind of great because the Red Octane guys, who were very nice, got a ton of money. They became comfortable, and then the IP remained with Harmonix. But it was years and years of lawsuit that ended up with Harmonix just getting epic settlement.
Wow. I did wonder because, like, Harmonix, I've always loved a lot of their games, right? But
Dance Central, amazing.
But yeah. I can't recall, and excuse my ignorance.
A lot of the Harmonix guys are ex-Looking Glass guys.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because they're in Central Square by MIT in Boston, and Looking Glass was a few stops up the Red Line subway from there.
Wow. So I take it you're quite happy to see Bobby Kotick just go away from the industry, right?
I think that that losing a publisher, a multi-platform publisher like that, is bad for the industry. But I think that having the management of Activision replaced is really good for the industry. So go figure.
Swings and roundabouts.
And the unionization?
Well, look, unions have worked, it's a double-edged sword, but I think it's time for the games industry to go through a little bit of that. One of the things that hasn't happened in our industry that's happened in other creative industries is people getting old and retiring, and that's happening now.
Yes.
But you have no retirement if you don't have royalties. So where's your retirement fund? And one of the things unions do is provide healthcare and retirement for creative people. And creative people are gig workers.
Yeah.
And they need that support. And so it's essential, And so, my wife is an art director for big feature films and TV shows and stuff. She's in the union. That's great. A lot of friends I have are in Hollywood unions. It's great. Screen Actors Guild. It's great. They protect people against lawsuits. Like everybody's suing Alec Baldwin over this handgun incident, right?
Yeah.
And SAG-AFTRA, his union, is defending him, which is great. That's superb. I mean, you can't be an actor who's supposed to be in character, do what he's told by the director. He's supposed to look angry, get pissed off, and shoot somebody, right? He does it, and it's his responsibility that he was given a loaded gun by a bunch of clowns, and they're suing him. It's fucked up. So SAG-AFTRA is defending him, and so in that sense, it's really good.
Yeah.
But unions can overreach. It can be a problem, so it goes back and forth. Balance on balance. If you just think about it in terms of money and negotiation, but if you think about it in terms of human beings and retirement and healthcare and children, essential. It's good.
I had never thought about it from the gig economy point of view. A lot of creatives flop from one to the other, but it's just
if you flock from one to the other, what healthcare do you have?
Yeah.
What retirement do you have? Oh, none. Right, none. How do you handle your taxes? Oh, good luck.
Yeah. Like, and contractors is another thing that's been. I work in that space outside of this, and it's a big economy, but it's a big conversation that's happening. There's been a lot of light on 343 with their overuse of contractors, and then suddenly they kicking people off. And
so it's all fine now. Everybody's young, but then people get a little bit older, and then ageism comes in. We don't want to have this concept artist because he's too old and he's too slow and he draws like it's the 90s and all that shit that people say. But then now you don't have any work. Now you have no health care. You have no backup plan.
Yeah.
What do you do?
That's crazy. It's a point of view I'd never considered, which is weird, but the gift of not being there yet to worry about it, I suppose. Crazy.
Well, you should still worry about it, but
yeah, I should. Head in the sand. I'm conscious of time.
Especially Nick, because apparently Nick's quite old. Which
he is. He's over 40.
Yep. What?
Okay.
That's not that old.
Well, I'm 42. Compared to most of my gaming peers, I am old.
I have had a hard life. I'm only 38. So
I'll tell you what. Yeah, because you look 51. It's crazy. You're hard. What'll happen is you find yourself suddenly being the oldest guy around. Crazy time. All right, so I don't know how much time we have. What time is it? Oh yeah, so it's been about an hour.
It's been about an hour. So I know I want to get.
I still don't feel we haven't the depths of Nick's freak out. Like, tell me something Nick said during the abusive period that was surprising to you.
You want me to go in my DMs?
I said it. I said I don't want to do the show today.
Let me find.
Oh
one.
my god.
The DM I got after I pinged you, Seamus, and I was like, I just got a DM from Nick. Hey, you there? Do you want me to read this out, Nick?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay, if Nick's not comfortable, it's fine. But
let's just say he called you some names. He said you were a bit rude.
Let's also say, like, I actually got him to agree also to tell you, yes, Seamus is not happy with you, and man, hopefully he did that. We had a joke in our lab. There was an employee that we had who's since gone on to an awesome game developer job, who I dearly love. I love this guy. But he had been at workplaces before with like some kind of really abusive boss, and it's hard to shed that baggage, right? So he always thought, because I wouldn't look at him with like a happy face or something. He's like, Seamus really pissed at me. And so a couple of the other guys here, and I had no idea about this, would say, yeah, Seamus is not happy with you today. And he would get so freaked out, he'd be like shaking, coming to talk to me about stuff, and I'd be like, what the hell is going on? And so finally one of my guys said, okay, we wind him up, we tell him you're really mad at him. I felt so bad for so long. That was part of the guilt I was feeling with you.
Oh.
I said to them before you jumped in, I'm like, I feel nauseous. I'm like, I don't want to do this.
I'm sorry, that's too far.
I was like, I do not want to do this at all.
It's not my fault because these guys knew, so they should have told me.
I know.
It's not on me.
We were saying it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, Nick. It'll be fine.
Don't worry. I've
not
never
to
seen
laugh.
you so rattled,
So
Nick.
sorry.
Normally you can handle yourself.
sorry.
What's going on? Oh, it's glorious.
So sorry.
I'm
not sorry though. Okay.
No, don't be. I'm conscious. We've got a couple of community questions. So
Yeah, let's do it.
Doesn't Seamus get to be a quiz master?
Does he want to be? Does he have time? It's up to Seamus. It's your call, Seamus. So
we do a very dumb little game where I
owe
take
me.
names of
I'm very
games.
dumb. I'm very dumb. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah,
But-
I'll call, if you can check Twitter, I can send you these things, and you're just going to read the name of a game, and they have to guess what you're talking about.
See those tweets? How did I not see those tweets you were
I don't
posting?
know,
Twitter's
I
terrible.
figured that you would. You can look for them right now if you want.
Oh,
They
I
do
believe
exist.
they're
They're
there.
a thing.
I 100% believe they're there, but I see your tweets, but I did not see those because had I see them, I would have jerried onto it. Like
what you
I
said
said to
earlier is
Jesse-
that the algorithm is fucked up. So like, I'm not actually surprised these days that you wouldn't see them.
yeah, I didn't see. Like I
But
said
I
to
was pretty
Jesse,
explicit. I said it, and then I said I'm really nervous about it, and then another one where I'm like, I think I'm going too far, and then another one I was like, oh, but fuck it.
I said to Jesse, I go, unless he's doing some intentional smartass thing that's just
And I
not
tried to not
translating in text, I'm like, I don't understand. I'm like, we have a history going back 4 years. He's never been like this before. I don't understand what's happened. Like, I don't get it. I was like,
oh, so good.
Yeah, well, now all been revealed. Okay, let's do some community questions, and then I probably am going to have to go. Apologize.
Okay. Let's go.
okay.
Do you want me to
we
do
don't
them?
have-
Got the page?
Oh,
ready?
I don't even think we've got that many. I don't actually think we've got that many.
See, it's even
okay,
better.
so
Nobody even cares about this show.
Lots of people care about this show. Listen to in 45
all right,
countries across the globe, you know.
Sure, yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Hytham G. So any Valentine's Day plans, Nick, Jesse, and John and Seamus? Are you four going to take your wives on a special date somewhere, like a dinner or something, or whatever special for your loved ones, while your kids are being babysat by your relatives, or maybe a babysitter or something? But except your kids, Jesse, since they're mature young adults that are 18 and 14 that can look after themselves. But your guys' plans on the day of Valentine's Day?
This
So-
question comes from your children, obviously.
Hytham, English is not his first language, so it can often be a bit of a long run sentence. But yes, any plans for Valentine's Day?
I think it's during the week for me, so probably not.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
big is Valentine's Day in Australia?
It's I mean the companies try to make it big to sell
Shit.
to
Yeah.
make money and sell cards and presents and stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's that huge.
How important would you say if Valentine's Day, if Mother's Day is a 10,
Mm-hmm.
where is Valentine's Day?
For me personally, it's like a 5 or a 4.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 for me.
Yeah.
Like I specifically will seek people that are like, do you think Valentine's Day is a load of bullshit? Yeah. Okay, cool. We're on the same wavelength. No gifts. It's just a marketing machine. We don't need it. That's
Yep.
my attitude towards Valentine's Day. It's pointless. It's just
Yep.
an excuse. If you love someone, treat them that all the time. You don't need
All
a
the time.
special day to
Yeah,
do it.
fuck yeah, that's right. And also, if you have several kids and you both have crazy jobs, you're like, what day is it? What? Was
Yeah,
Valentine's Day yesterday? Oh, okay, cool.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah,
100%.
that's right.
So yes, we
Okay.
should do something very nice for the people that we love, but we're also very bad men and probably won't.
Yes. Accurate.
nrXic. Hello all and welcome, Seamus. The last clickbait reaction to fake gaming news item went great. Check it. It actually is pretty funny. This week I'll put a pause on those shenanigans and have a question for Mr. Blackley. Whether it's ancient Egyptian bread or the Duke controller, you seem to have a knack for reviving something from the past. If there's any one thing from your childhood that you would like brought back for Zoomers to experience in its original form, what would it be? Is it an album, movie, a book, or an experience that no longer exists, like drive-in restaurants? Something that was phased out during my youth. I missed out on that, sadly. What would you bring back?
Ooh.
This is a deep one, and I'll tell you exactly. I think about this a lot. I would destroy the internet.
Okay.
He's
No,
not wrong.
And the reason is that there was an intimacy and an honesty to the interactions between humans when everyone didn't know everything or think they knew everything. Mm-hmm. When everything you did wasn't immediately available everywhere, when everything wasn't compared to everything else instantly, when you could still be surprised. You'd go to a movie and you'd have no idea what it was about, and that was normal. Go to a restaurant, and you wouldn't have 5 million reviews on it. And you'd try it; it was an adventure. You'd travel, and it was an adventure. It was surprising to see new things. It was awesome. The world was in vibrant color, and you were present, and you paid attention to it. When something new came out, it could genuinely shock you, like video games or punk rock, or Madonna at the first Video Music Awards.
Yeah.
Her performance, no one had ever seen anything. It was like aliens could have landed and it would have been less shocking. Okay. And the internet makes all that impossible. Everything's leaked, everything's known, everyone's cynical, everyone's seen everything. Every new thing is immediately dissected into all the other old things it was made out of.
Yeah.
And life has become, comparatively to me, in my view, very gray. Very gray. So that's what I bring back. But
what would you bring back, though?
That sense of wonder and beauty.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. By destroying the internet. It's a weird one.
And also the honesty of human interaction. The other thing you got to realize about that pre-internet world and the pre-mobile phone world was that you had to depend on other people.
And you had to trust everyone.
And you could. And you could.
That's so true, man.
And you could because everyone had to. Like, people are worried about having a bad reputation online now, right? If you got a bad reputation in the 1960s, 70s world, you're fucked. That's it. You're done. You got to move to the country.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to cash your check. How are you going to get money? You're not going to open a bank account because they're going to know you. You're never going to get a job. Because how do you get a job? You don't have an online resume. People don't look at your GitHub. Okay, they're going to phone somebody and talk to them.
No one does that anymore.
Yeah.
No one picks up the phone.
But so it's like all of life now has become more or less an anonymous online chat, and I liked it a lot better when you had to have a real name.
Yeah, and it's a weird one when you talk about things being colored. Have you played Hi-Fi-RUSH? I
haven't, and it sucks because Jet Set Radio is like one of my go-to games, and I'm like, wow, this is Jet Set Radio. Take it up.
It's a brilliant game. It genuinely is a fantastic game.
That's actually next up, and
you will love it.
Embarrassed to say I haven't been to it yet.
But
it's great.
It kind of speaks to that point because we were discussing last week on the show, Hi-Fi-RUSH. They shadow dropped it. It just came out of nowhere. And what the beauty of that was, above anything else, was typically, especially if it's Microsoft for some reason, here's a brand new game. Oh, it's cartoony graphics, and then if you would allow the traditional marketing machine to do its thing, oh, let's pick it apart. Let's bully it because it's not realistic, or a third-person action adventure. But none of that got a chance to embed and the narrative to form. It just was, here's a game, go play. And it was like hearing you speak. Then it was like, oh, what is this? And you just got to just enjoy it at the same time as everyone else. There was no discussion. It was just an adventure, and it was great. And you will love the game for it.
So we need more of that.
We need more of that in life. Fully agree. That was pretty poignant.
That's when you feel like a gamer. It's when you have that new experience. That's the thing that cannot be replicated. It's fantastic. It's the best feeling.
Yeah, 100%.
That
was a good answer to that question.
It was.
God damn.
Really good.
What else you got?
Okay. Jesse Brother. Good day, Nick, John, Jess, and Seamus. Mr. Blackley. As a big Xbox fan and someone who recently received a life-saving pacemaker from Tufts, a very appreciative hello to the Yeast Master.
Well, hello to you too. I'm really glad to hear that you have that device now. Don't let the fucking battery run out, dude.
Glorious.
But all my no, that's great. That's really cool.
Okay. Skedaddle. Mr. Blackley, please do give us a sign if Special Nick is holding you hostage. Quite the opposite.
Emotionally, the other way
on
around.
A scale of 1 to 10, just how persistent was Nick at getting you on the show? It's been 3 years.
Scale of 1 to 10 of Nick's pain. No, Nick is a god among men. He's a really, really good guy. And he was very honestly pursuing me. And I have to tell you, the entire reason that it occurred to me to fuck with him so hard is because he's such an easy mark because he's a nice man.
There you go. Just soak all that in. Look at feel the love in the room. It's nice. It's nice.
It shows you the impact that him fucking with me had.
You're gonna come out and hug your wife when you finish the show. It's okay, honey.
I've got the 12-year-old boy face. That's it. But I'm 42. But I'm 12. But I'm 42. I want to have it both ways. I'm both.
That's the Greek. That's the Mediterranean genes running through.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's the old.
My question to Seamus and all of you is, which unfortunate OG Xbox game would you like to have seen succeed into the future? I'm thinking games such as Blinks the Time Sweeper, Bloodwake, Conquer, Crimson Skies, Fusion Frenzy, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Jade Empire, Kung Fu Chaos, Mecha Soul, Phantom Dust, Quantum Redshift, Voodoo Vince, or any others you can think of.
What about Dark Summit, motherfucker? No, I hate that game. Never mind. I fucking hated that game. I'll tell you, Voodoo Vince was a really cool idea. I wish that had made it farther.
Yeah.
Doesn't Phil notoriously hate that game?
Crimson? No. It was unbelievably good. God, so many of those games.
Oh, that was Brute Force that Phil hated, not Voodoo Vince. Brute Force.
Yeah, Brute Force was just a horrible idea all around. Just a terrible, terrible idea. Yeah.
Don't know how that one got off the ground.
Steel Battalion, okay. Like that. That really needs to come back. I think Bloodwake was actually a tremendous game. A lot of those games had really, really good gameplay. They're just a little bit early.
Yeah. I miss Mech Assault. Mech Warrior 2 was one of my first gaming experiences on PC, and when Mech Assault came out, it was the first game I played online on the OG Xbox.
Yep.
And I remember my old man had just ordered broadband, 2 meg, so fast, and I was like, "Oh, can I bring the Xbox down into the lounge and I run a cable from the router?" And he was like, "Yeah, go on then." So I'm sitting there on what was it? It would have been like a 32-inch Triditon giant CRT. And I was like, I got to pick a name, and I had to whack
7,000 pounds.
Yeah. I know. It was man, I have a horror story. My uncle used to own an electronics store, and it would be the one that sold the TVs that might have had a scratch down the side, so you could get it a fair bit off. But it worked fine, right? So if you didn't care, fine. And I remember trying to squeeze in a 32-inch Sony CRT into the back of a very, very unreliable Vauxhall Nova. And I've got cords around my shoulders at the front. It's not good. It's not a good time. Oh dear. Those were the days.
Okay, next. Good old Collingwood.
One left.
Happy Chocolate Day next Wednesday. John, Nick, Jesse, and welcome Mr. Blackley. I'm going to ask the same question I asked Ed Freeze way back on at Podcast 105.
This is Collingwood or Collingswood?
Collingwood.
All right.
Collingwood.
Not the guy who ended up being in charge of the British Admiralty.
No. Okay.
Cuthbert Collingswood started out as the ship's boy for Admiral Nelson and ended up running the Admiralty.
Wow.
Great story.
I never knew that. Yeah. I think this is an Australian football team, isn't it, Collingswood?
Yes, it is. It's the football team that I go for, yes.
Really? Are they is it better than Norfolk? Sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Mr. Blackley.
Very easy answer.
Yes. Mr. Blackley, is there a feature on the original Xbox that you wish you had developed further? With the kindness of hindsight, is there something that you could have fixed or reversed? Or alternatively, was there a feature that you could have improved from simply good to something great?
Trivial. External power supply. That's it. Done. Would have made it smaller, quieter, more reliable. Wouldn't have burned out the capacitors. Would have made it easier.
Is that why the time capacitor keeps blowing up?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of reasons for it, but it being hot doesn't help.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know there's been a lot of talk in the last few years about it, and a lot of modders and all that sort of stuff are like, take that time capacitor thing out of your Xbox before it just melts the board and destroys everything. Like, I think it was certain Xboxes manufactured before a certain date were more susceptible than the later ones or something like that. But okay, interesting to know that that's.
No, I really wanted that. It would have made it smaller, cooler.
Yeah, interesting. I know, but just having a standard figure 8 power cable was so convenient. It's one of the things I loved as well. It made life easier. It was.
There's plenty of space though in Australia, so you know.
Yeah,
maybe
he's got you there.
In Japan, the original Xbox was half the size of the average apartment. So that was
I know.
Yeah.
So big. Yeah. Oh, he's got another part here. Nick, how can you like The Last of Us TV series? We all know you skip cutscenes in games, and The Last of Us TV has no gameplay, all cutscenes. Wow, that's why it works.
But there are parts of that call out the gameplay so hard you feel it, right?
Yeah.
That's a really good show.
It's a good show.
Yeah, they've done an incredible job. It makes me watch Halo and think like, yeah. I don't know if you watched the Halo show.
It's hard to pull these in. Yeah, of course I watched all of the Halo, and it fell flat. I mean, the first episode, I thought, okay, this could really be something.
Yeah, like kids
when they started blowing kids apart, and I'm like, oh fuck, oh my god, it's brutes, holy fuck, right?
Yeah.
And they did that so well, and and the Spartans show up and like fucking drop down and start kicking ass. It was great. It gives me goosebumps thinking about right now. And then that was the good episode right there. That was
it. There were so many moments in that show, like when the cool fight scene where they're trying to get the artifact and he hijacks the Banshee and they're doing the warthog gunning. Not once did the showrunners think, maybe we should have a kick in. Like, what the
I know.
Who's in charge of these things?
If that music had come on, I would have jumped up off the couch,
right
on the ceiling. I'd be cheering. Yeah,
I know.
What were they thinking? I wonder if it, because
again, this is the Hollywood people versus game people, and there's still a divide. And somehow, and I think a lot of this is down to Neil Druckmann and the guys at Naughty Dog.
Taking control.
There's stories beyond that also. Yeah, but I mean, and being at Sony. And Sony taking that franchise so seriously and understanding how much money it's worth.
Yeah.
Because Microsoft still has a problem. Microsoft's a big operating system company. Phil's not the most important executive at Microsoft, much as I think he should be. And I love Phil. I really do. But Microsoft is not an entertainment company. Guess what? Sony is an entertainment company. And I think that's an important difference.
It's a weird one, right? But Nick and I have a saying that we say regularly on this show
all the time
when we talk about how Microsoft approach being creative and promoting things, just general anything, is that sometimes they just don't fucking get it.
They just
don't get it. And it's like, oh, you want an easy win? Here, just take this easy win. We can think of like 12 you could do.
That's why Hi-Fi-RUSH is so significant, because to me it was the first sign that maybe someone in there is starting to get it.
That was Bethesda's idea.
I think it's the opposite of what you think. And I can tell you from personal experience that I'll bet you hundreds of people get it and will make decisions you in there. But getting through that bureaucracy is impossible. You say, okay, we're just going to drop this. What you have is 4 or 5 very high level marketing people at Microsoft who are way higher than you in the hierarchy.
Yeah.
You say, well, that's a bad idea because of this, and it's not our policy because of this, and we have to do this. And you'd have to get sign off on this, and like at some point you just like, I'm gonna just fucking whatever. I don't care. Sure, hype it like normal. I give up.
Yeah. That was Bethesda driving that creative decision. Who are obviously still existing in some form in their own publishing arm as a creative team, right?
Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes. But I think if I was those marketing people that like to put up the roadblocks in Microsoft, I'd be looking at the reaction to your customer base online and being like,
But they're not, because those marketing people at Microsoft right now are looking at public reaction to the layoffs, public reaction to ChatGPT and the AI investment. That's what they care about. And this game shit is just off to the side. And so, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
If Xbox loses $50 million, that literally means nothing. How much did they just put into OpenAI?
10 billion.
Yeah.
So So you guys are saying, "Oh my God, how stupid are they?" And they in many cases, I think no one cares. I mean, Joe cares, and the game team cares.
Yep,
it's getting that fight.
Yeah.
Well, it's the last one now.
Last question.
Then we can release
Predrag. Mr. Blackley, what was the weirdest Xbox prototype you saw during development? Was there a design idea / concept you personally liked more than the final product? Thank you.
Do you mean a design of the console itself?
Yes, I believe he's referring to the console itself.
I think that you mistake the you might be mistaking the original Xbox team for being some kind of like Tony Stark like operation with like many prototypes. It was barely fucking alive at any point. Like one prototype is what we got. We made some drawings, saw what would fit, and oh my God, it might ship. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So fuck, I don't know. No, that was the design.
Wow.
Hope you like it. I wanted the power supply to be outside, but no.
Yeah, I think the reason that question is probably asked a fair bit is because of the giant silver marketing X, right? It was just ridiculous. I've heard some horror stories about that, right? Where you were on stage like soldering it.
But the point of that, again, in retrospect, you don't see is that the idea of Microsoft making a games console at that time was impossible.
Insane.
It would never work. And you say that now, and it's like, haha, insane. No, but genuinely, like for real. And so I had to figure out how to make something that would cement Microsoft to this idea so they couldn't get away with it. So you make a show car, a super flashy thing that gets on the cover of magazines and on television, and people are excited about it. And that was the point of that. And so it did its jobs perfectly.
Yeah. It's very, very remembered.
No one thought that was going to be anything like the final console. I thought the final console would be much smaller.
Yeah. Yep. And it wasn't. No, I'm joking. It was still.
It wasn't. It wasn't quite that big, but it did way more.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, it was a beast.
So
so that's it.
Right. I have to fuck off now. So I apologize.
You don't have to, but I understand if you
don't have to. We'd love for you to stay.
As much as I would like for you to be the most important people in my life. Almost. Nick almost is now.
Well, we really appreciate you jumping on, Seamus. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. And if you get some more spare time and you want to try another wind up at some point in the near to far future, always feel free to jump back on. We're always happy to have you on.
Well, man, I have bad news for you. This time it'll be me and Nick doing it to you, so you won't even know about it.
Oh, no. I'd just be really salty back. I don't know if I would worry so much. I'd be like,
We'll see. We didn't get to talk about how we brought the Duke back or anything.
Knowing that, we'll do it a different way.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep on my toes. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure, Seamus. So thank you very much for jumping on.
Thanks for jumping on.
The last thing I want to say on this is just to make sure everyone knows, and you have this on video, the idea for bringing the Duke back was Nick's idea.
No, you shouted me out on IGN on podcast on Unfiltered,
and it was a really fucking great idea, Nick. And thank you very much. That was really fun.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
The LED thing was cool.
See you guys.
Catch you later, man. That was Seamus Blackley, everyone. Oh, do you feel better now, Nick? Now that you know that was all a big joke and we were just teasing you.
I've never seen Nick so upset.
I was so angry. I was so angry. Like I said, when have I ever this? It was the first time. I said this before we jumped on. It was the first time ever that I did not want to do the show. We've been doing 146 episodes, and this was the first time I didn't want to do the show. I'm like, I don't want to do it.
He was genuinely. Nick was very, very upset. It was so hard as well. Seamus was like, "Can you keep a secret?" And I was like, "What's up?" He was like, "Is Nick near you?" I was like, "No, man, he's in Australia. Like, it's like the very definition of not fucking near me." And he went, I'm being a complete prick to him to really wind him up.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
it was so like, and I knew I had I said to Jesse before you jumped on, I'm like, unless it's some intentional screwing with me. Oh yeah, Aussies like to give shit, maybe
I hid behind my microphone because I was starting to laugh really hard when you started saying that. I was trying to not give it.
I'm like, maybe he's doing some intentional screwing with you thing, and it's not translating, and I don't get it. I'm like, Oh
Man.
my god.
Chat, right before we went live, I have to tell chat this. And chat, apologies. You know, we were flying fast, like we wanted to make the most of having Seamus on. So we haven't been paying you enough attention. We love you guys. Smash that like button if you've enjoyed the show thus far. We're going to sticking around. We're going to be chatting through some news. But right before we went live, he popped up in StreamYard, which is the application we use to do this show. And in the private chat, he actually typed, "Will Nick be sure not to offend me?"
Not to offend me.
Right, so he didn't say it out loud. He just typed it. Nick read it. His face dropped, and like Jesse and I started to lose it. So Jesse was like, "We're going live, because we couldn't."
Well, Seamus was saying like, "Okay, this you can Nick," because he could tell Nick was genuinely upset. He was like, "Okay, Nick, you're fucking this." I was like, "Nope."
Yeah, I know.
We're going live.
Like,
and then I pushed us live so he would stop.
we weren't
talking.
live, and I'm saying to Seamus, I'm like, "Do you honestly think I intentionally offended you? Like, do you like?" And he's
He
like,
could
"Dude,
tell
you're,
us how
you're
sad-
fucking this up." He's like, "You're fucking this up already." Like, dude, I'm like, "Oh, I'm holding it in." I'm like, "Oh."
Look, see, he thought you're fucking it up in the sense that he didn't want to keep going with it because he started to feel really bad because he realized how upset you were, and he was like, "Oh no,
So funny.
I've really gotten Nick pretty hard with this." So I was like, "Oh shit, I got to cut this off. We're gonna go live right away."
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I loved it. It was the best. Thanks,
My God.
Seamus. That was a
I
good
did not
laugh.
see those tweets of his. Maybe it's because
Yeah.
he doesn't follow me on Twitter, and
No.
I didn't see them.
It's because Twitter sucks. It's falling apart.
Maybe you're more likely to see tweets from people that also follow you back. I don't know, but I those tweets, because if I had seen those tweets, then I would have been onto his act. But I didn't see those tweets, so the whole thing just seemed so odd to me. I'm like, God, look, where did this come from? He's never spoken to me like this before. I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from. Oh my God,
Glorious.
you don't understand. I said to my wife, I'm like, I don't want to do this show today. I'm like, I
Do
don't
you
want
feel
to do
better
it.
now you've done it and you know the truth? Do you feel
Yeah, I do. Like haha, but like, oh my God. That's what I said
He
to him. Like, I
he
should show
fully
you.
committed.
Oh, did he ever? Jesus Christ.
But
That
hey,
was just-
you know, before we get into things, have you had your breakfast at least?
Yeah. Well, I had real breakfast because, you know, I was so so because of how I thought the show was gonna go. I said to Jesse, I'm like, we're not doing ads or anything today because I don't know how he's gonna respond to us doing ads while he's on. So, so I had nothing prepped. I had nothing ready. Like, it's completely thrown me off. Completely thrown me off.
Let's use this opportunity to soothe you, and you can just tell us about the delicious balanced meal replacement shake.
Yeah. Well,
that you like
if you
to
lose
enjoy
your
regularly.
appetite because someone you thought was your friend acts like they're not your friend, then what you should do is go to drinkcontrol.com/XboxEra and use our code to get 10% off some very nice, delicious control.
Very
to
good.
make you feel better about
Very
your friend being real mean to you.
Anyways, I know we touched a little bit on what we've been playing, but you know, let's just. Well, we've been playing part 2. Been playing anything?
Well, aside from the games I'm juggling, despite Rand telling everyone I'm not playing GoldenEye, I am still playing GoldenEye, but I'm also playing Dead Space, and I'm also playing HiFi-RUSH, and I'm also like, there's just, oh my God, it's only February, and there's already this many games. Like,
Yeah,
it's just nuts. It's just too much.
I've been playing. I've been saving Halo Infinite, as you may have seen. My map, made with my colleague and friend Blaze Dillon, Perilous, is now live in Halo's Community Creations playlist. Very cool seeing that. Loaded up that playlist, played that. I was like, yeah, super cool. Been playing a little bit of Hogwarts, which is interesting and stuff. If you like the books, it's very detailed inside. It's kind of cool walking around the castle. And that's about it. Not much else new, anyway. But there's stuff coming out this month that, you know, I'm already eyeing up Wolong because I want to play a game
next month.
Oh, it's next month. Well,
Very
hopefully
early
we'll get-
next month. We got Atomic Heart in about 10 days or so.
Nice.
Man.
soon.
I can't believe you haven't played Metroid. You have to play Metroid Prime. It's one of the greatest games of all time for a reason, and it holds
know
up.
where my Switch is.
And they added modern dual analog controls as well.
They brought it up to speed.
Yeah. It's just
it looks real nice on a PC running 4K 60 with mouse and keyboard as well, John.
Still looks great even on the Switch. Still looks stunning even on the Switch. It's just, man, an unbelievable game. It's crazy how well it holds up for a 20-year-old game. Just amazing.
Good games usually do. So that's good stuff.
Yep. So are we going to discuss new
GoldenEye
stuff
doesn't.
or whatever?
Do we want to talk about Activision Blizzard King anymore, particularly?
I mean, it got pretty spicy this week.
It got very spicy this week.
It got spicy. Like, apparently Jim Ryan has cut off all communication with Microsoft and ABK now because Microsoft is subpoenaing them and they're subpoenaing Google, Nintendo, and they want to see executive reviews or something. So I assume they're trying to uncover something in those reviews.
Well, it's a weird one that I think Sony referred to that subpoena for those documents and those files as harassment. And I'm like, are you fucking for real?
Are you for real? Like, what? Harassment. You've been the singular point of resistance. You've been the singular hurdle. You've been the singular blockade to this deal for the last 12 months. But because Microsoft is now biting back a little bit, you're like, this is harassment. Like, this is just complete harassment. Like, come on. Like, spare me. Like, that's fine. Like, again, we've said all along, completely understand why Sony is so opposed to this deal.
Of course.
As has been revealed just this week, what we've been saying on this show for the better part of 2 years, which is that people don't buy PlayStations for their exclusives. They buy them. It's been revealed that that's pretty much the case. Like, everyone just buys it for Call of Duty. Like, people buy the console that's popular at the time in this hardcore gamer, high-end market that it's being referred to during this case. So the 360 was the momentum console, so everyone bought the 360 for COD and for FIFA and for Madden. Then the PS4 became the momentum console, and everyone bought it for Fortnite and for COD and for FIFA and for Madden. Now, I think the PS5 is still just the momentum console.
It is. I mean, even if you look at the recent reviews and you go look at the numbers, like there might be like 15, 16 outlets on Metacritic for Xbox, 90 for PlayStation. And I think that's a problem for Microsoft. If the majority of all third-party reviews are all being played on the PlayStation, that's a rough hurdle to try and jump.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing that's set by the companies. You can ask for whatever code you want for whatever platform you want. So people are just used to covering or feel they're going to get the most out of covering the PlayStation version.
Yep. And like I said, that's why a part of me wanted this all to go to court so this juicy stuff would come out.
Well, it looks like you're going to get your wish.
Like the fact that Microsoft's 120 million MAUs is, again, what did we say last week on the show? I'm sure a lot of those MAUs are logging into the mobile app, logging in on your PC. Turns out it is.
Yeah.
It's just, I like that a lot of this stuff was coming out. And apparently the CMA has seen the numbers. Have you noticed that? Apparently the CMA has seen the console sales numbers and they were like, the disparity that we thought or everyone thought was there is not quite there. What have we been saying for the better part of 12 months?
I'm looking forward to a lot of this coming out in the wash, I have to admit. I think more and more is going to kind of come to light. It's certainly going to be very interesting. I mean, how long is this
tell everyone?
For? But then we have like Wedbush, the analysts, and I believe Michael Pact was there. So could the Pact curse strike? But they were saying that the CMA have
their provisional findings.
but it's not based on anything. So they haven't considered the 10-year deal that's been offered. It's not been a part of those investigations. And everyone's been pointing at these structural remedies, which is divestiture of Activision or divestiture of COD.
That won't happen.
Or of Blizzard. I don't think Microsoft will look to any of those. They left some wiggle room open for behavioral remedies, which is the stuff like 10-year contracts.
10-year deal. Mm-hmm.
But so chips down, do you think it's going to still go through in its entirety with just behavioral remedies? Do you think they're going to have to divest any of it?
I still think it'll ultimately go through. Again, don't care if it doesn't, and in a way prefer it doesn't, so that money goes somewhere better. But again, there's no my only reason for saying I still think it'll go through is because there's no actual legitimate proper reason for it not to. There just isn't. Like, if there was, like, and really the only way it could happen is if Microsoft were the market leader. If they were the market leader, then yes, no chance this goes through. None.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'm talking Microsoft specifically. I'm not saying any market leader, because I think this whole thing would go very differently if it was Sony trying to buy ABK.
Do you think it would go through without a hitch? Genuinely? Like, they are the market leader.
I don't know if it would go through completely without a hitch, but I think there are certain markets that are resistant to Microsoft that would be less resistant to Sony, like the UK. I mean, where's Jim Ryan from?
Yeah, he's from this neck of the woods. It's true.
And you might say, oh, but the FTC is fighting. Yeah, but there's a reason for that. The FTC is fighting because Lena's come in and wants to look like she gives a crap and wants to take on big tech. And Microsoft's the second or third biggest tech of big tech and wants to be seen like she's taking them on. So there's along the way, and this is where Sony's advantage comes from being a smaller company, despite being the market leader or supposed market leader in video games. Sony as an entire company is very small comparatively in the big tech world. Yeah. They're small. That's their advantage, I guess, in stuff like this.
Well, to Seamus's point, they're an entertainment company first and foremost, right? They're not big.
Yeah, that was a great call. They are. That's their DNA through and through. They're an entertainment and creative company. Microsoft
and an insurance company.
yeah,
and an insurance company. But like everything they do feeds into entertainment when you think about it, and media, camera lenses, TVs, MP3 players, headphones, everything. It's in like entertainment as a whole, be it visual or oral, is in Sony's DNA. Like the headphones I'm wearing right now are Sony headphones. Like, that's who they are. It's who they've been since day one. So it makes sense the way they work in games, that they're a bit more creative than what a company like Microsoft is.
Yeah.
All
true.
That stuff makes total sense. But I'm just looking forward to it being eventually over. I just, yeah.
Well, 80% of the people that voted believe it will go through as is. So I guess we'll find out soon.
God, we didn't get to talk to Seamus about the bread thing.
No, we didn't get to talk to him about a lot of things, but we only had an hour, so we did all right.
Because the tangents we went on and the stories we got told, and we didn't get to cover anything. But it was good.
It was great.
It was good.
He's a
I wanted to ask him how he felt about Game Pass, because we got a really interesting answer out of Ed Freeze about that. Yeah. So I would have been interested to hear his opinion on Game Pass. But yeah.
No, well, maybe we can have him back again. You never know, right? Giving up more than an hour of someone's time is not everyone wants to sit on front of a laptop for 3 hours, you know.
No, they don't.
So we're lucky.
Yeah. What else happened in the news this week? I can't even think.
Oh man, well the biggest story is probably the one thing that we just don't want to go any, like, to coin the phrase, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot barge pole. You know?
Oh,
so
yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
And I can't blame you. Who would at this point?
I'm not interested in talking about that.
So
for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I'm not interested.
I'm loving it. All right, let's get to the next thing.
Okay.
Yep. Name a game?
Yeah. Let's play a little game and name a game. Why not?
Yeah. We're due for name a game.
Let's go.
All right. Pushing.
Bring up me buzzer. I have me buzzer up.
Okay.
I've got me buzzer. Ready to buzz.
Buzzer. Yep.
Hello, everyone. I don't have my green screen up. I don't know if I should actually pop myself up.
Yeah, cool.
Everyone needs to remember today. Now in Australia, it's the 12th today. So for you guys, it's the 11th. Although it's probably the 12th for John now. But don't forget, 13th of February is coming real fast. Better have those balls shaved. So if you want to get your balls shaved in time for that ideal Valentine's Day gift, you go to Manscaped and order yourself a lawnmower 4.0. Make sure to not use the guard so that, you know, it's all nice and close.
But Nick,
what?
Aren't those things really expensive? Don't you have a helpful discount code someone could
Yeah,
use?
that's right. I know things are tight in the recession, so if you want to get your lawnmower for a good price, use our code XboxEra for 20% off and free shipping. Free. You can't beat free. Free is great.
You can't beat.
Yeah. National Save Your Balls Day, I think.
February 13th. I believe so, yes.
National Shave Balls Day, Shave Your Balls Day, something like that.
Shave your balls.
Shave your balls, guys.
For your ladies and all fellas in your life.
And gents, yeah. For whoever. Whomever.
Whoever would appreciate them being smooth in that way.
As long as they're a person.
Yes.
As long as they're a human person. That's fine.
He's speciesist. I don't know about that.
So, chat, if you've never seen us play Name a Game before, this is the game where Jesse takes the name of games and using a thesaurus replaces common words.
Use my brain most of the time. I don't even use a thesaurus.
I know, you're just clever. But with complicated ones. So Nick and I play for our patrons, and if you're not a member of the Patreon, you can join us and support XboxEra in everything that we do by visiting patreon.com/XboxEra. You get to ask community questions, and we will play for you in Name a Game, and the winner that we play for will win a code. Who are you playing for this week, Nick?
He's probably not watching, but I am playing for Marcus Baker. Marcus 365. Yeah.
Nice.
I am playing for Marcus, so I'll do my best.
I am playing for Skedaddle.
No, I played for Skedaddle.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, you guys are so
why did
bad
you
at
say
this.
that when I chose his name earlier on?
I don't remember you saying his name.
Nick was just so sad about everything with Seamus that he couldn't even think straight.
I was very distracted this morning. This morning was not the time to be talking to me and expecting me to be listening.
Fair enough.
To what
In that case, I'll play for I think Tausif, I want to say is his name.
Tausif.
Tawsif.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go.
Okay. In honor of Seamus being on the show this week, original Xbox games.
All right.
Oh, haven't we done that before?
Yes, there's a lot of them, so we can do it like 50 more times.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, these are going to be hard. I'll just let you know right off the bat.
Games with like astrophysics in them or bread.
Too on the nose. All right.
Okay.
The first one is really tough. Eternity Fluidity. Eternity Fluidity. And you got to remind me to turn off desktop audio next time so people don't hear us talking after the show. I have it on for the buzzer.
Eternity Fluidity.
I don't know if anyone's going to get this. I wanted to have some tough ones. I think they've been a little too easy.
This should be easy based on those two words. It should be so easy.
Eternity Fluidity. That's interesting.
I can give I can give a little hint.
I'm guessing this is a game I've never heard of.
No. This is an IP. A game based on a smaller known IP. Not a big one. There's something smaller. I'll probably be able to... No one said it in chat yet, so I'll give you a little more of a hint. It is based on an IP that was on MTV. It was a cartoon. Not for kids.
It
then had a movie.
I think it was on 360.
Well after its cartoon on MTV, it had a movie that was terrible.
What? Eternity Fluidity? It was a cartoon.
The movie starred Charlize Theron. Last hint. Sik and Mechanico.
Aeon Flux.
Correct.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. My game knowledge might be bad, but movie knowledge.
Movie knowledge. That's right. That's why as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh wait.
People got it once I started saying cartoon on MTV because there's only like that and a couple other ones. Really.
Oh, I don't know about the cartoon, but when you said Charlize Theron,
it's terrible.
It is.
It is
the razor grass when they're jumping around and like it's just everything about it.
The weird feet.
The grippy feet that also aren't grippy half the time. All right.
Yeah.
First one, Sik and Mechanico. Second question is Origin Soaring. Origin Soaring. Soaring. Not a big game.
Soaring. Not a big game. Origin.
I wanted some hard ones this week, so not everything's a banger.
This is tricky. I like the clues, though. The clues are helpful.
I'm giving the lightest clues. I don't even know how to give a clue after this, because I don't know anything about the game. I just have heard of it before.
Origin.
Oh, well, then I got no freaking chance.
The first word is tied to a Christian holiday. Something that takes place during a Christian holiday.
Christmas? Origin?
Something that takes place during a Christmas holiday.
And the second word is a word used all the time in gaming and movies for sequels that is really played out. That probably doesn't help at all. But what's another word for soaring that gets put on a lot of shit? Hey, someone got it. I gave good hints.
Is this a Japanese game?
I have no idea. You know what? I should look it up. I actually don't know. Let me see.
The only one I can think of, and it's a really random guess because I've never played it, but the only thing I can think of when you gave the Christmas hint, is it Japanese?
No, this game was published by Majesco Entertainment. Developed by GlyphX and Demiurge Studios. Sik and Mechanico.
Is it Advent Rising?
Correct.
Fucking hell. That is like pulling it right out from the dregs of my marketing memory.
Advent, a thing that takes place during holiday.
As soon as you go to Christmas, I was like, oh, Advent, and then the rest.
Yeah, and it's Rising. Every goddamn movie in is Rising. Yeah.
At least it
Dark
wasn't
Knight Rises. Yeah. All right, next one, potentially for a clean sweep. Further humiliating Nick on his day of being just shit on is Gory Scream Farthest. Gory Scream Farthest.
Gory Scream Farthest.
I don't think this one's that hard, so no hints. Another not big game. Not an exclusive, was on the PlayStation as well. Oh, the buzzer's not. Don't no one buzz. I forgot to click clear. There we go.
No, it's not that.
Nick, are you gonna let down Marcus?
Gory Scream Farthest.
Mm-hmm.
The hell? Man, did you pick like the most niche of niche?
Oh yeah, I wanted it to be tough this time. This is a game I think that came out on PlayStation first, and this was the Xbox thing of we're gonna bring it over, and we're gonna have it has extra stuff, so it gets an extra thing on the name. So Furthest is not part of the game's original name. It's a extra title added on.
I was kind of like Gory. I was like, okay, Blood Wake or something, but then like Scream and Wake isn't really the same. thing, and they're kind of one. I don't know. So I don't think it's Bloodwake.
No, Dr. Dinglenut, it's not Messy Poop Fest.
Is chat having fun?
No one's gotten it. I'm surprised.
Gory screen from this.
Okay, I can give one.
When you said the thing about farthest, that's got me on a track now.
So the first two are the name of a game. Solid. Yes, it is like the Revengeance on that title.
Yes.
Give it a little more time. I can give one hint that might give it away too much. Though even then, in this genre, it's not that big of a game. It's just looked on kind of fondly, I think. Incorrect, nrXic. Or are you correct? I might be lying. In fact, I am. One person has got it now.
No, we've taken ages.
Yeah, all right. It is a fighting game. It is Bloody Roar Extreme.
Isn't that the dinosaur fighting game?
No, that's the furry fighting game. Where all a bunch of angry furries. Okay. Primal Rage.
Oh, Primal Rage is what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Bloody Roar is actually pretty good, from what I remember.
He's not going to get that.
nrXic got it.
Not going to get that.
All right, the next one's pretty easy. It is Thug Energy. Thug Energy. No, Dr. Digglenut, this is not Primal Rage.
No, he was saying Primal Rage about the other one.
I'm making a joke. Thug Energy.
Man.
I can't give any hints on this one.
Thug Energy.
Nicka Mechanico.
Brute Force.
Correct.
Nice. Yeah, great.
I wish I could hear the... You know, I should turn on... hold on. I want to hear the friggin' music. Get me into the mood more. I wish I could play it so you guys hear it. Do, 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 do. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, now I hear it.
Clear the buzzer.
I normally... Okay, I copy the question over from the Word document, and then I clear the buzzer. I have a routine on this, Nick, but I was doing one thing in between. All right. Do, 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 dun, dun. The next one's overworked. One word, overworked. Overworked. One word. You know, Rick Payne, it is not Overcooked. That was not on the original Xbox.
Is it?
It's a large, beloved series that hasn't been around for a while. Hello, Jay the Earp.
Beloved series.
And large, like not. It was really loved. This week is hard, Rick.
Yeah, this is the trickiest week ever, to be honest.
This one? I don't think this one's that hard, but I mean... This is the very first in a series of multiple games, where it got better as it went along.
That's thrown me now. I had an answer in my head, and now...
Is it,
You gotta buzz in if you're gonna say, is it?
No, is it, I was fishing for a clue, mate. Is it first party or third party?
I believe third. Let me double check.
Okay. Overworked.
Yeah.
Overworked.
This one isn't the directest translation. So the name of the game could have an ED added in the end and be two words almost and work better, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure EA... Oop, go ahead, Nicka Mechanico.
It was, I can't remember if this was a 360 game, though. Now I'm fucked. Enslaved?
No.
That's 360. Odyssey to the West.
It was a 360 game. Oh, I knew it.
Sick, you get a free guess.
A free guess?
Yeah.
Overworked.
Overworked, original Xbox game.
I'm
going to start up the 10-second timer.
I got my games mixed up.
Soldier of Fortune.
Incorrect. It is Burnout.
Oh my god!
And,
I said,
in my head, I had that wrecked, that
That's
Yakuza
so
missions
good.
wrecked game. I had that car game in my head. I'm like, Reckless, that Yakuza
my
game. I'm like,
God. That's a perfect. Like when you know the answer, that is like the best one yet.
See?
It's so simple.
Nobody
I feel
got
like
it.
such a dot.
Not one person got it in chat. That is one of the best I've ever done, probably.
Wow.
The next one's definitely not.
Okay.
The next one is... I like being able to hear the music. Wish you guys could. Get me an Go XLR and we're in. I can do that for you. The next one is Terrible Corpse. A handful of shotgun.
Buzzer.
I'm hoping I get this name right.
Oh,
Evil
damn it,
Dead.
you beat me to it. Yes.
You gotta get the whole name.
Fistful of Boom Stick.
Yep.
Correct.
That's it.
Like Mechanico wins. Let me fill that
This
into
house
my...
is clear. I have exorcised the demons. Okay, cool.
All right, and
Well.
I've got more like always.
Okay, let's play some
Only
more
a few more.
fun.
Yeah, more for
Just the
funsies.
Chat are enjoying it.
I mean, it's the
Right?
star of the show.
Yeah.
Well, now that Seamus is gone, it's the star. Next one is Wonder Concluding Association. Wonder concluding association.
Man. Concluding, finish, finish, end, wonder, fantasy.
I know the game, and I can't remember its name, and I can't say the first word because it'll give John the clue.
I've already won. It could be
What's the name of that damn game?
So
comic booky.
there's a game that came out. It had a sequel, and you could buy those up until a few years ago on Xbox One when they were re-released and they delisted everything else. Go ahead, Nick.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just tweeted about that game because there's a part on the store. There was this tile. You know how they have those ad tiles on the dashboard? And it's like, comic book games. Come and check out these comic book games. So I clicked on the tile. First 2 games. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. I'm like, oh, they're back. I can buy them. Click.
Yay.
Not available. I'm like, why is it here on the dash? Why? Why did you make me think I could buy these 2 games again? I took a photo, sent it to Jason Ronald. I'm like, man, was this intentional? Like, I can't buy these games. Why is it there? Oh my god. Okay.
All right. Next one is... I cleared everything. Yep. Opulent Larceny Vehicle 3. Nick Mechanico.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
Right. That was just a dumb way to say it.
Bet you wish you had these at the beginning of the show.
I held them for
why weren't these ones at the start?
because they were too easy. I actually held them off until the end because they were too easy. All right, and the final one is Join the Mold. MOLD, like a mold of something, not the mold that would grow somewhere. Join the Mold. Oh,
The buzzer.
buzzard. Yeah, I know. I forgot.
Join the mold. Join the mold.
Well, I was able to make games, nrXic, I'd do that. Based on an IP outside of gaming. A big IP at the time. Humongous IP at the time. Big. Hard IP.
The mold.
Sik and Nick.
No. What was I thinking? I was just like, oh, IP, Enter the Matrix.
Correct.
Oh my god, I was right.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mold? Matrix?
The
Yeah.
mold.
If you look up mold, that is another word for Matrix. Yes, a Matrix is like a. Yeah. What do you think the Matrix is? The Matrix is them building all these things in digital cyberspace to create something.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, I will
even try.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.
And that was Name a Game. And we've already done community questions, so we're kind of like...
Yeah, we're done.
It's the end of the show, isn't it? It's the end of the show, chat.
Yep.
This is anything you want to talk about, chat? You know, we're here.
If you start throwing like $500 worth of super chats around, we'll hang out.
Yeah, we'll dance.
We don't get
we
super
didn't have
chats.
a single super chat.
Yeah, people don't like us.
People don't love us like that. Well, you know, hey, have people in the chat? Have you seen this really awesome XboxEra T-shirt?
You mean XboxEra?
Ox.
Yeah, Ox.
That beat was loud.
Great fun.
I don't think there are any updates on Killer Instinct. No.
I haven't had an update on KI, mate. If I had, I would have said something. You guys know how I work. If I get an update on something, I'll usually say something.
People are desperate because Ed Boon
Trust
did
me,
that tweet.
no one wants an update on KI more than me. Jesus. Like, I've had people tagging me on Twitter lately about Top Spin 5 a lot. I'm like, I wish I could just show everyone. I think I've done a decent job of it, but I wish I could just show everyone how it all works for me. It's like half the time I bug them for updates because you guys bug me for updates. Like,
you're just asking to be bugged more.
Yeah, I don't do it constantly. I'm just saying, like, it's not. I don't know. I don't know how people think this all works. It's all like, yeah. I don't even know how to explain it.
Why can't you verify your sources, Nick?
Yeah, you scum.
You can be a member of the popular video game forum, etc.
I don't know.
We got a super chat.
Trust me, no one wants to know about KI more than me. Super chat. Hytham G. A Master Chief Nendroid is on the way by Good Smile.
Enjoy.
Cool. Is Nendroid like a Funko?
Kinda, yeah. I think they're a little smaller, from what I remember.
Nendroid. What's a Nendroid? Oh yeah, they are. They're like Funkos.
Pretty much.
But anime looking they're anime looking Funkos.
Mm-hmm.
People collect those, right? Still.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yes, it has.
And
never
amiibos.
ended.
There's a new Link amiibo coming for Tears of the Kingdom, which I've already pre-ordered. That Link amiibo, and I've made space on my shelf for him.
There's the Nendroid, for anyone wondering. There you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a very detailed.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yes.
But why does it come no color? They always come in grey.
No, they usually have color.
Oh, okay.
It's. I think they're updating like what the figure is going to look like in their process of making it.
I'm with you. Fair enough.
Another super chat.
Kay Asante with a super chat. Yeah, I for one love you guys. Great interview.
Oh,
thanks.
Yeah, Seamus is a character. Like I love having him on because he's very no holds barred. And I don't know about you guys. Like I'm gonna go back and listen to his speech about human connection and wishing that the internet didn't exist. Like put some really triumphant like music over that, and you'd have a pretty good speech because he's right in a huge number of ways.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say the same. I was going to add to that and say, yeah, think about it. When we were kids, we used to go on our own and walk to the park or go down the road to see our friends or whatever. No mobile phone.
Yep.
Our parents just had to trust we'd make it home and they couldn't contact us. Like, you know, when you organized to meet someone somewhere, you just had to trust they were going to roll up. Do you remember those days?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
Hey, I'll meet you in the city at 3:00. You just had to trust that they were going to be there at 3:00. There was no, yeah, I'm on my way. I'll text you. I'm
think
running
about
late,
what
blah,
human interaction is like now. People just sitting there watching films like this on the sofa, just constantly consuming.
Yeah.
Everyone's right or wrong or has an opinion, and their opinion's the most valuable. And
what Seamus said is a perfect example of why I tell people I don't make stuff up, because I'm from that generation where you just had to put trust in everyone.
Yeah.
That's the generation I grew up in, where you just had to trust people, and you, not that you saw the best in them necessarily, but I can't think of a better way to say it. Like, you just, I came from a time where you just had to give people the benefit of the doubt until they showed you otherwise. Like, So when people say, "Oh, you just make stuff up and throw shit at a wall," I don't. I just say what I am given. I am maybe foolishly, if you want to say that, just trusting the people that are sending me stuff. And then I'm just giving that to all of you. That's all it is.
Sharing that love.
Some stuff has turned out incorrect. Some stuff has changed. Some stuff has whatever.
Darkwing Duck.
Like it's Darkwing Duck is very prevalent. But
it happens a lot in our lives. But man, Seamus was great to have on. Like I'm really glad we got the opportunity to finally catch up with him. And I'm glad the book didn't come up. Because hey, that's a good update. Ladies and gentlemen,
the book.
I'm not sure if you backed the Xbox original celebrating 20 years of Xbox book on Kickstarter. I was exceedingly happy to announce earlier this week that it's done. It's done, and it's going to print next week. I've already got a day booked off from work. I'm going down to the print house. I'm dragging my kids, but whatever, so they can wait. Picking the final bits and pieces, just aligning on everything. The team that are producing this are binding over 500 copies of a 360-page massive coffee table book. And they reckon they can do it in 8 weeks. And if you haven't seen the digital edition, it's incredible. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. You can go and have a look. And yeah, I can't wait to get this into people's hands. Already started organizing all of the shipment. We're also including a little special gift in the pack for those that kind of were very patient through a very turbulent 2022, because we know that this took us a little longer than perhaps anyone would have liked. And just for fun, because we can do this live, Jesse, I've just pinged you a little image of what we're planning on adding in as a thank you to everyone. And it's nothing amazing, it's nothing crazy good.
Yeah, well, this looks like shit. No, I'm kidding.
We were working with a company to just produce a really nice enamel pin, like the kind of things you get at an Xbox Fest. So we're looking to just get that out to everybody as well. So yeah, really, really pleased that we were able to do it. For those that have been asking, can I get it after the fact? Once we're through this, we will be looking at Amazon self-service printing. It won't be as, I'll be real here, it's Amazon, right? It won't be as high quality as the OG versions that people are paying a fair amount for. But all the presentation cases, the slip case stuff, all of that, it's all in flight. We've had everything agreed. It feels really, really good to get to this point. The burden, I just can't wait. I am very curious how the shipping works. Like, are they going to pick them up from the printers directly or am I going to have 500 books in my front room, me sitting there licking stamps? Can you imagine? Just like,
aren't they shipping them?
No, the booking company won't ship it. No, there's a specialist shipment company that's coming in to do that part. But I was joking, like, imagine if the book company was like, hey, here's 500 books. And I'm like lugging them in off the front lawn and it starts raining. I'm like, oh, fuck. But yes, I'm super happy that is finally done. So it's really, really cool.
Looking forward to
that. And yes,
we do have stuff coming this week on the site as well.
We do. I've got a video I've got to make this weekend.
Yep.
And do you know what's really terrible? The buzz on the grapevine is I've heard people are enjoying
the game you hate. Yeah, I think Jez might be, and I'm
gonna be the outlier. I'm gonna be the outlier for the first time.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You reckon? I don't know about that.
It's truly so we've got reviews coming for some games we can talk about, like 10 Dates. We'll have a review coming for that from Harmonica. We have Like a Dragon Ishin coming from Harmonica. We'll have coverage for Wanted Dead and some other stuff. And yeah, it should be a good week. And Atomic Heart next week, maybe Wild Hearts next week. All depends on when we get stuff. It's going to be a very busy end of February.
Yeah, but we love busy, right? And the fact that we get to do all of this is thanks to the folks that watch and support the show. and it's nuts to me. Jesse, congrats for being on the celebratory marketing from Hi-Fi-RUSH, Tango Gameworks, and Xbox.
That's great.
It's nice to see the little XboxEra score there in the bottom left corner. It's very nifty.
I think I have that.
How cool is that?
Is that the second or third time that's happened?
We've been in a Deathloop video.
Deathloop.
Bethesda seem to love us, right? We love Bethesda's games. So we've had that. I think Ori and the Will of the Wisps had it. Halo Infinite had XboxEra in there, which was cool.
Yeah, that's right. Halo did. Yeah. So it's happened a few times.
Cool.
That's good. I like Jez tweeted out.
Why am I chopped liver?
Chopped liver. I was like, damn straight you are.
Yeah, well, you know.
I was the first.
You were the first, and you caught the buzz. You caught the Hi-Fi-RUSH straight off the bat.
Caught the top of that wave, the crest.
The crest
of the wave.
I mean, how cool is that we get to do this stuff, and it's all thanks to the people that support us. So,
and we get to talk to people like Seamus.
I know, right?
Who you like again?
Torment you. You like Seamus?
Yeah,
right?
Might like him a little less,
Seamus
but you went for
I
being.
Disliked him. I disliked him very much this morning.
He DM'd me just now and said, "Thank you so much. That was fucking hilarious."
On Twitter or Discord?
On Twitter.
You don't understand.
It tickles me so much.
You don't like. I was ready to not do the show. I was this close. I was ready to just.
That's why
excuse for not.
We just kept saying it'll be okay. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we were really having to work hard to keep you calm.
Like, I'm not joking. I was this close. I was ready to just be like, I'm not doing this. I don't want to do it. It's not happening. Like, I'm going to message him right now.
You.
Thanks heaps for jumping on, asshole.
See, where else but XboxEra can you get such high quality bants?
Oh my god. I don't think you realize how upset I genuinely was. Like, I was so legitimately
he
upset.
realized it once he hopped on and was trying to do the angry face, and you looked genuinely just so sad and didn't understand it, and that's why he was like, "Okay, you're gonna ruin it," because you were making him feel really bad.
Yeah,
he was like, "Oh, I went too far."
He felt it. He felt the pain that you were going through, Nick. I think.
Oh my god,
he felt it bad.
But again, as I said on the show, doesn't that show how much I liked him and valued him? Like, if it was just someone I didn't give a rat's about, it would have been like, yeah, this guy's a dickhead, whatever. Like, just whatever. But because it was Seamus, like I said on the show, we've been in the DM for like 4 or 5 years about the Duke controller and about this and about that. So I was so taken aback at the shift that I now feel dumb that I didn't pick up on it because we had been so fine for so many years. Like, I feel dumb that I didn't pick up on it.
You are dumb for not picking up on it. But
oh my god. Okay, super chat. Jay the Erp with the $5 super chat. Speaking of KI, I see Max has been playing season 1 version. Still holds up. KI will hold up forever. KI will hold up forever. It's so good.
You love a bit of KI.
Yep. But yeah. Anyway.
Maybe they'll make a sequel one day, right?
I think they want to.
What do you mean? Maybe they'll make. I got told there is one being
made. I know. I'm teasing.
I just have no idea what's going on with it.
Which is a shame, because it would be good to have some intel, but we'll find out one day.
We'll try.
One day. Maybe this E3. Who knows? E3 of dreams, folks. Even though it's not E3, apparently, according to IGN or something.
Yeah. It's the same. Well, I guess the difference is that they're not coordinating with E3 in the same way they used to with Microsoft, where like the E3 badge will get you into Microsoft, because I think someone said like E3 the pop read is behind in their planning, and so Microsoft's just going ahead on their own for now. But it's essentially the same thing.
Interesting.
Okay. I need a coffee.
Go on then.
I really need
you need to go calm down, have a lay down.
I really need a coffee to just like I'm telling you, I've never been that. I don't know, I can't remember the last time I was that upset in my life.
It was very hard to not break down laughing.
Yeah, I really struggled not to literally crack up.
And I said to Jesse, I'm like, there must be like, unless it's this intentional thing where he's screwing with me like a mate, and like I'm just not getting it. It's not translating. I'm like, I don't understand.
What have I done?
Oh my god.
Well, folks, in that case, we'll call it a night.
Okay.
As always, thanks for watching XboxEra. We'll be back next week.
Much.
Plenty to check out on XboxEra.com this week. Loads of reviews dropping. Be good to one another. Enjoy Valentine's Day if that's your thing.
Yes. Shave your balls.
Shave your balls. Keep
Make
an eye
fun
out
of
for
Nick.
my vitriolic writing later on this week with a video to match. And we'll see you next week.
Ciao for now.